Hello, folks. We'll be starting after this ad. I need to download a few things, and also I just want to get the ad out of the way. So we'll be starting after the ad. I promise. We. Oh wait, hold on. This is the wrong one. This one. This is the one. Hold up. Let me put the mic a little bit closer. Oh, the ad break ends in a few seconds. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Okay. Um. Uh. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Ad's over. How do you do, everybody? Um. Welcome to another stream. I recognize I was literally just streaming yesterday, but you know, stuff and things. I make the worst schedule ever when it comes to anything. So, um, but yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. I guess I gotta be better at this. I gotta start remembering to do a little quick intro for anybody who's new here. Hi, I'm Dyna B2B. I am your friendly internet mocap AI, who has yet to do any mocap stuff in a hot minute, which is embarrassing. But you know, at some point we'll get to it. But for now, I I'm tier listing all of the transit systems that I've been on. Um, Hello, German Tanker, Johnny. How's it gonna be? How you doing? Yes, this is gonna be a very interesting stream. I After my rant on my chuzzles, I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta do this. And I feel like I've been on more transit systems than most people, so I feel a little qualified to talk about this. Um, I'm gonna have to think about some of them. So I'm just okay. I've been on the Long Island Railroad, right? Railroad, which is different from the MTA. Fun fact, even though it says MTA, but it's whatever. It's the same. But yeah, so I guess some context for some people who are again new here. Um, I I live in the Bay Area of California, so there's a few there's a few transit systems I see on the frequent. You can see there's the BART, there's Muni, which is the little red logo, and then there's Caltran. I've frequented New York quite a few times because my grandparents live there, and I had some friends in Long Island, so I went to visit them. Um, what other transit systems? Oh yeah, what is Philadelphia's? Dumb Philadelphia. I had a Clipper card is here. What is Philadelphia's transit system? Philadelphia train. It's not Amtrak. It's SEPTA. Gotta look up SEPTA. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear, Johnny, that you have some chest pain. I hope you're gonna do better, or you get better. I definitely understand that. It feels like one of those. It's just the season to get sick. You know, it's just that time of year, I guess, where it's just like the weather makes everything go whack. Um, so at least at least I get sick because of that. But yeah, no. I hope you get better. You know, it sucks. All right. All right. I think this is a good start. Right. Right. So, I'm gonna start with BART because I have a friend who uses it on the daily. So I don't really know a lot about BART because I've never used it, but the Bay Area subreddit hates it. And because everyone's like, man, is like dirty and stuff and dangerous. Whereas the reality apparently is that like it's like some of them. Or okay, wait. Now let me finish this thought and then I'll roll back. So like yeah, so people tend to like have a bad feeling about BART kind of things. And generally you stay away from it kind of thing. And like my biggest gripe is it only like services San Francisco and the San Francisco area basically. So it doesn't go down the bay, which is what Caltrain does, but that's a whole other can of worms. But anyway, so the way I consider this tier list is like, how convenient is it? How clean is it? How efficient is it compared to driving? And those are the only three I can think of at the moment. Oh man, you have heart murmurs and palpitations? Had them for years. They come and go. I understand that. I had some weird chest pains around this time last year. I had a cardiologist look at it, and they're like, you have a healthy heart. No idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just going to keel over one day. This is fine. Hello, Starman. How's it going? We're tier listing today. And I see my cat is going somewhere she's not supposed to. It's fine. She'll just cry and come back down eventually. It's fine. So yeah, BART. Usually people like to think it's dirty and unsafe. I have good faith that I've been told that it's not actually like that. I think BART, yes, it's a goofy train stream. BART is, yeah, it's just trains go underground. So it's kind of like New York City's MTA, except MTA is trains and buses. So generally, oh my gosh, I think I shared this on my Twitter. A little known fact, BART made their own VTubers or like caricatures or like I guess it's like a Jijinka kind of thing, anime. It's great. Wait, do we have a whole aspect? Wait, I think I showed this. I showed this on my Twitter. But yeah, BART, to get with the kids because they have low ridership since the pandemic and like people have this perception of being unclean and unsafe. They made anime characters. I think they're actually VTubers or they're just anime mascots. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they like VTube occasionally or like show up. But it's like really hilarious. But I just love them. I love them so much. Yes, German Taker, I do blame you for this, but this was a long time coming. I've been radicalized by YouTube and some like specific YouTube channels that are just like, we need more better transit, and their cases make a lot of sense to me. So I'm like, I have a vendetta against America. Also, hello, X. It's good to see you, man. I hope you've been well. We're tier listing all the transit systems I've been on, which is more than I think other people. As a Bay Area native who has used BART sometimes, you're right, it's nasty. I've been told that it's certain parts of BART. So, like, if you're going from San Francisco into, like, Oakland area, that's not safe. Or, like, middle of the night, not safe. Generally dirty. I think my coworker was just telling me that today there was someone shouting and throwing things on the train. That's not fun. But yeah, they have an official Twitch that they collab with actual VTubers. I gotta react to that. That sounds absolutely hilarious. I mean, you know what? Good for them. They're not doing like a cringe meme thing. Like they're going hard on this, and like, you know what? If Bart thinks that this is gonna get them more ridership, have at it, my bands. Like, go off. Like you understand. Maybe you actually understand the generations. Um, but yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna put Bart in like I think the dirty perceptionist makes it so it's not an A tier, but I feel like it's like B plus. So I'm gonna stick it at B. Like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. They have a VTuber channel, man. Like, and they collab with actual VTubers. Like, how could you not love that? Mind if I share the Twitter here or on your server? Ooh, post it to the server, German Taker, Johnny, so that we can all enjoy VTuber Bart. Okay, for the record, so X. So for the record, and just to be fair, Bart recently decommissioned their old 1970s trains and are now exclusively using the 2018 models with better aerodynamics and more security cams, so it deserves to be redeemed. I also heard that. I also heard they're having less trains during rush hour, which is really weird. And I just remembered why I think Bart is trash, which is a hot take, I realize, potentially. Bart, any little bit of water, absolutely shits itself. This is what like my coworker who uses Bart when it was wet last year. Every time it rained, it was either I'm gonna be late to work or I have to work from home. Bart is just dead, and you're just like, what kind of transit system can't handle a little water? Like, this is Earth. I don't care if we're in the Pacific Northwest. It's gonna rain at some point. Also, if I'm being honest, Bay Area likes to dunk on BART, but if it suddenly shuts down, people would be miserable because of all the traffic and zero parking. Also true. I I'm lucky I have parking at my work. Otherwise, I would basically never drive in. San Francisco, any part of San Francisco to parking, I'm like, no, I absolutely refuse to park. I can't do this, man. I can't do this. It's not that BART can't handle water in like an electrical way. It's that the water tends to flood the tunnel under the bay, which is most people's commutes. That's even worse. That's even worse. That reminds me. I can't remember what the movie was because I was watching it on TV. But there's this movie about the underground tunnels that goes from Jersey into New York City, into Manhattan specifically. And I just remember the movie is just basically people get stuck in tunnel. Some people die. Some people survive. And then like the next day, we were driving from like Manhattan over to Jersey, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna die, aren't I? So, don't know why they made that movie. That's just one of those little horror stories that sometimes crawls up in my mind and makes me panic of why am I in a tunnel underground with like like hundreds of gallons of water above my head? Like, yeah, what the fuck? Okay, let's get this rolling. I'm trying to speed run this because I have too many stories. Muni. So Muni. Okay, so the Bay Area. So specifically, let's talk about San Francisco. I've told this before, but San Francisco, for some absurd reason, has like 3 to 4 different transit systems. So like I'm including Amtrak because I think you can technically get from Amtrak. From San Francisco. So like they have BART, they got Muni, which is this obscure thing, and then they have Caltran, and then they have Amtrak. I think I've used Muni a few times because I was using it to commute before I got my electric scooter, and like I kind of hate it because it's like it can't it can't make up its mind whether it wants to be underground or above ground. Like underground makes a lot of sense to me. Like, it gets you through traffic and stuff. It's like hidden. There's no inconveniences there. But like their trolley train things, they go partially underground and partially above ground. And the above ground parts have to follow traffic. So you're just like, why would I take Muni if I have to follow traffic? And I could probably walk faster than Muni at that point. Like, what the heck? Also, Muni has buses, and I'm like I get that the MTA has like their own, like, they have buses and trains, but like it feels like Muni just couldn't make up its mind whether or not it wanted to go ham on the buses or the trains, because I think they follow very similar routes. So you're just like, why? Absolutely why? I like the design of their little thing. I will admit, I like their trolley cars. They make a funny sound. They're clean. Technically, no one checks for if you bleeped your Clipper card. So you can technically ride it for free unless there's like some cameras or something. But I think you can get away with it. You didn't hear that from me. But no, I'm sticking Muni and C. Lol. Okay, so Bart is better than New York subways during hurricane season. Fair enough. I have seen the pictures of the MTA just flooded, which I think is absolutely hilarious, but it's semi-ingenious in a way. Like, I get you won't be able to use transit, but at the same time, that means your city won't flood, right? Also, yes, German Taker. I thank you for reminding me about the New Jersey Transit. I used it once to get to... what was it? I went to Ocean City or Atlantic City for a short vacation. And then Virginia Railway Express. All right. I've never been on that, so you're going to have to give me feedback, and then I'll judge it based on that. I will no longer... this is no longer all of the places that are transit systems I've been on. It's the ones that we throw on here because chaos is fun. I'm not sticking to anything. You know what? We're just gonna keep going. Muni is more of a period landmark from the city's culture than an efficient form of transportation. However, compared to Muni, driving down Embarcadero is just not an option. Also fair, but like, yeah. I've never seen the Embarcadero when it's not crowded. I also hate the Embarcadero. So I guess for context, if you look on a map of San Francisco, the Embarcadero is like a road that goes around San Francisco, which is kind of nice because half of San Francisco is hills, and I absolutely cannot deal with hills. So, all right, here's my favorite. Caltran, the one I use on the frequent. Sometimes the trains are stinky. I don't know why. The trains are really loud. Which I think is, so like the horn is really loud, which I think has something to do with U.S. law more than anything. It only goes from San Francisco down to basically San Jose, or Durridon, somewhere down like south of San Jose, I think. So. And like it's only like it hugs like the edge of the bay basically. So like if you live away from the train stops, it's kind of inconvenient. But like that's all of California. Ooh, you just reminded me. I need to throw on a LA train system, transit system. I have no idea what I think it's just called the Metro. We're just gonna call it that. We're just gonna go with that. So yeah, I mean, I think Caltrain is definitely a much better option than driving. So like, I ran the numbers, and say you're going from like San Jose up to San Francisco. During rush hour, it's a lot better to use Caltrain. Not during rush hour. Like, you can basically get up to San Francisco, no problem. But, like, it's basically always rush hour unless you're leaving at 3 a.m. in the morning. So Caltrain's great. Only during commuting hours, though. So, like, if you look at their schedule, if you're nerdy enough to look at their schedules, like, during, I think it's between, like, 6 to, I think, 8 or 9, they have pretty frequent trains. Any other time, it's, like, once an hour. So that includes weekends. So you're just, like, so I only use it for commuting. But, like, what if I just want a cheap, fast way to get up to San Francisco on the weekend? Well, you're going to spend, like, an hour to like half an hour to an hour on the train, which is like better than driving and trying to find parking. But like, if you miss that one train, you're basically fucked for an hour. So it's a little annoying. I've heard that like European trains, sometimes they just come so frequently, like you don't even have to plan your life around their schedule. You just show up and it comes in. I think that's basically what happens with the MTA as well. It's just like they come every 50 minutes, but Caltrain's like, no, this bitch coming only every hour. You're shit out of luck if you miss it. Anyway, C tier. I mean, they're getting electrical trains, so, but they're staying in C tier right now. I have to use it every day, so, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Embarcadero is never not crowded. Also fair. So the reason why Caltrain is so loud is because those older diesels need to basically over rev the engine to generate power for the passenger cars. Interesting. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll let the channel know what these new electrical trains sound like. I think they're rolling them out next year. There was like a few showings of like the new trains, and I just didn't want to drive down to look at them. But they'll just appear on the tracks one day, is what I assume. Okay, so Muni goes down to Sunnyvale, which is pretty much the only option for people driving on the peninsula cities. However, the Caltrain only exists because the city ran out of money to extend the BART as far as it wanted to. Okay, I think I know the mistake you made here, X. See, I thought Muni went down to Sunnyvale, and I was like, why haven't I been using this? Because for a while I lived in that area. Turns out, Muni goes down to Sunnydale. And if that's not the stupidest thing you've ever heard of, I don't know what is. So Sunnydale, I've looked into this, is actually, I think, around South San Francisco area. Basically, it doesn't go any farther. So basically, Muni is basically around San Francisco. BART goes down to the San Francisco airport, and then Caltrain goes all the way down to San Jose. And then anything else, you want to use Amtrak. I know way too much about this. It's just because I've gotten so frustrated. I'm like, I don't want to drive here. It sucks. Everyone's bad at driving. I honestly, a lot of times, I think about how if I was richer, I would just have someone chauffeur me around. But I guess in that case, I wouldn't be driving up to San Francisco for my job. I would just be lounging until like 9 a.m. in my bed or something. I don't know. I assume that's what rich people do. Also, funny aside, I was showing my parents. My parents came by a few months ago to visit. We passed by the SF airport, and I was like pointing out to my dad, and there like I don't pointing out to my family, like, oh yeah, and there's like the BART transit system that gets you into the airport, and it's just this like tiny little like BART train, and then my dad's like, oh, it's a Bartlett, and I laughed really hard at that. I'm really a sucker for puns. Like dad jokes, I laugh way too hard at them. All right. Moving on. Right. Let's do SEPTA, my hated rival. So, if you think I have a vendetta against Muni, I have a big vendetta against SEPTA. Here, let me pull up a map let me pull up a map of how stupid this is. Yeah, this will do. Oh, I totally forgot about the regional railroad. All right, and Patco. Oh my gosh. Okay. SEPTA has cool trains, but everything else about them suck. Yes. I totally forgot. There's like 4 different systems running through Philadelphia. Okay, so So let's start with SEPTA. SEPTA is a mix of buses, trains, and trolleys. I don't know. Like I have thoughts. So if you can see these like green squiggles, I assume you can only see the colors. So you can see these little green squiggles. That's the trolley system. And I think this like light blue line here, and then this orange one, I believe those are trains. And then the buses are just whatever. We're not gonna care about the buses. So I really hate SEPTA because it's just so inefficient. Like you could see, so this is, I think this area where the blue and the green is, that's considered University City. That's where University of Pennsylvania and University of Drexel is. And then like, I think Temple is over here. And then there's a bunch of other ones out in the middle of nowhere. You don't need to worry about those colleges. They suck. But like, so you can clearly see that the trains and the trolleys are basically running the same line. So you're like, why would you do that to yourself? Like they connect in like four different places here, or like those 3 different places in the city. So you're like, why? Why are you guys this bad? The train basically just goes back and forth and back and forth. It's loud. It's stinky. There's this one train system I remember in Philadelphia where to get over to the other side, you have to cross over the tracks. But because the train systems are not like dug deep enough, it's like a 5.5 foot ceiling. So anybody above that, which is like half of America at this point because of all the GMOs in the milk, like they have to crouch, which is funny for me as a short person, but like I have tall friends, like they literally have to crouch to get through this stinky like overpass. That doesn't happen in New York. I'm just saying. New York is not like the top tier of a transit system, but it's one of the better ones I've been on. Anyway, so I need to also add in Patco while I'm at it, which is something I used a few times. And I think it's also kind of dumb because it services like a weird part of of like Philadelphia slash New Jersey. I don't understand it. Regional rail. Also, that's a really dumb name. All right, it's okay. We're gonna throw regional rail in with SEPTA. This is PACO regional rail. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So SEPTA, the trains are now loud as shit. It's stinky. I think I remember I was out in northeast Philadelphia for something, and I like looked at down at the tracks, and I saw some like hypodermic needles, and I was like, classic Philadelphia. Which is another thing I hate about SEPTA is that like half of it is underground, but then the other half of it is like over people's apartments, which are like quality of life 0. So anyway, SEPTA is C tier for me, or like D tier. Actually, no, we're gonna throw it down here. I hate SEPTA. It's stinky. It's hot. It's not convenient. They were doing like weird things. I don't know. It keeps breaking. E tier. Never use it again. Patco, I'll be really short because I only used it a few times. Clean. Sometimes didn't come into Philadelphia. I don't know. It just seems generally okay. You get C tier. Okay. What are we doing? What is this? This is LA Metro. I used this a few times. So I guess it's 2 summers ago now. I was in LA for an internship, and I was in the valley, the whatever the valley above LA City. So that doesn't have the train system like the city does. They instead have buses that basically go on every single street every like half an hour. And I've been on those buses several times, and they're basically empty most of the time. But then like you can take the buses to, I guess, the east part of the valley to hop on a train to get down into the city to then, if you want to go to the beaches, like go west. and then like take a bus down to the beaches. So basically, kind of inconvenient. I do like they're pretty nice. They're pretty clean. The ones down near Hollywood Boulevard or the Walk of Fame, pretty nice. A little stinky. They're pretty far down, which is pretty nice. So they can like add on and stuff and whatever. I one time sat in one of these trains, and I was wondering why no one else took that spot because it seemed really nice. And then I realized that the guy in front of me like looked like he had like one of those like hand lighter things that like you flambe crisp sugar with, like a creme brulee. You burn that shit, and some other stuff. And I was like, oh man, I think this guy just did drugs at some point, and he was like totally out of it. So I just, sat in front of a guy who is potentially out of it because of drugs. And I had a very pleasant ride because no one else got near me. So I will say, though, their transit system, kind of unclean. Like, the trains are unclean, and they're kind of hot. I get the LA Metro, D tier. The buses are pretty nice. They prevent you from going into the shady parts of LA. You can just skip over those on a bus. Yeah, D tier. All right. So I don't have to do more talking. Johnny, what is your thoughts on the Virginia Railway Express? DC Metro. I have been on the DC Metro. Give me your thoughts on Virginia Railway, and I'll rate it from that while I pull up more pictures. DC Transit. S tier? All right. Is S tier? All right. You know what? I'm gonna take your word for it. We're gonna throw it in S tier. I have no other thoughts. Head empty. Virginia Expressway. 10 out of 10 would do it again. When I was in France, French transit system. I don't know what transit system I used in France. I'm just gonna grab the first thing that looks like it is. Or you know what? Hold on. The Paris Metro. Let's pull up a picture of the Metropolitan or the Metropolitan signs. Real short story about that while I'm looking for pictures. One of the vacation I went to France with my family. We went up to Montmartre. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like the highest church in the city, and we got there by metro, and there was the option at the end. It's like you either take an elevator or take the stairs. So like as good New Yorker peoples that like walk around and stuff, we're like, okay, let's take the stairs. How long could it be? I think we were on those stairs just spiraling up and up for like a solid like 2 or 3 minutes, which made us realize why there was an elevator. Because like in New York, you're just like, oh, you go up a few flights of stairs, and then apparently in the French metro, it's like 5 flights of stairs, I guess. Anyway, we regretted that decision heavily. Okay. So your thoughts on the Virginia Railway? Never rode them, but I've been on a couple of their stations to watch trains go by. Their trains are awesome. They're relatively clean. They only run on weekdays, but they keep a decent schedule. If I ever needed to ride them, I would. All right, you know what? That deserves S tier. Clean, gets you to where you need to go. I will say I kind of want to take it down a peg because they don't service weekends, and that's also very important. But then again, does Virginia have anything going on weekends? Okay. Okay, this is a really quick one. I went on the Long Island Railroad, I think, only a few times. It's clean. They don't come very often, as far as I remember. I think there's basically only 2 options to get on the Long Island. It's either you take the Long Island Railroad or you drive. And there's also some weird like redlining, like casual redlining with it. I don't quite understand the details, but something about it kind of redlined, casual redlining. It's clean. I think I took a picture of like between the seats because it had this cool like infinity effect with the chairs. If I find that image, I'll send it on the Discord. Basically useless. I don't know. It's not bad. We'll stick it in with Bart. It's inoffensive. Inoffensive. The only thing I don't like about it, which is probably what puts it in B tier, is that you have to buy an individual ticket to get it. Like you can't just use your MTA card. You have to buy like a secondary ticket, which I'm just like, ew. That's so unfriendly. Like at least in the Bay Area for like BART, Muni, and Caltrain, you can use the same exact card, and that's nice. That's some good California shit right there. All right. What is this metro again? They're all called. Oh, this is the DC Metro. I've been on this once. I don't quite remember the details, but my dad had a conference in DC, and then I think it lined up with like a vacation of mine. So like the whole family just ended up going to DC, and I got to see the museums that my tax dollars pay for. So that was pretty cool. I don't remember much about the metro other than being really sweaty and hot, and my mom was very confused about how to get tickets. And from those little memories, I'm sticking in C tier. If it's difficult to get your ticket, that's stupid. Like, come on, guys. The point of this thing is to get money from people to go from A to B. Dirty, smelly, random schedule, stupid, expensive for such a short ride. I'm assuming you're talking about, the DC Metro, which you also just reminded me. I used to live in Boston. Boston Transit. I think it's the trolley. The what is it called? Not the trolley. Charlie. It's called a Charlie card. I only have the faintest of memories about this because I was single digits when I would ride it with my parents. So super quickly, like I think I just remember we lived at the end of one of the red lines, which also happened to be right next to a garbage dump. So it always stank, and there was a lot of seagulls. I just remember they used to have the stalls that it's like the three sticks, and then it turns like as your body goes through it, and then they got rid of those because people kept jumping the stalls. So then they did these like things where you either put your coins in or you press the ticket thingy, and then the doors like they have these like plexiglass doors that swivel in and out. I think that was toward the end of when I lived in Massachusetts. I don't know. My parents always complained about it. I don't know. It was fun riding trains. I think I remember it being relatively clean and pretty harmless of a train system. I don't know. B tier. Oh, also a fun fact. I just remember you can get dollar coins from the machines, so they're definitely B tier. Yes. Yes. It's New Jersey Transit. I have only been on this like twice, I think. Inoffensive, clean relatively. I think the ticket wasn't too expensive either. I don't know, B tier. I have no thoughts about this. I think it's kind of inconvenient, but like it's like the Jersey Transit, and it's like where are you gonna go in Jersey? Outside of Jersey, so it kind of goes from like what you go from like Philadelphia into Jersey to go vacation and back, and it's like what else do you need it to do? I think it also goes to New York, but like like what? So it's basically for vacationing or getting out of Jersey. Maybe we're gonna stick that in C tier. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah, you can use it. Sometimes you can't. Oh, the only one thing is like Jersey Transit that goes into the vacation city, so like Atlantic City, it's only during the summer, so you're just like I guess I guess I can only vacation during the summer months. I can't get there if I don't have a car, which is a big problem on the East Coast. Like, you can't get anywhere without a car, but like that's also all of America. All right. Amtrak. I have mixed relations with this because I think I used it in Boston a few times to get from Boston to New York, but I don't really remember that. I do remember there's this one time I was trying to visit my grandparents, and I knew I had to get off at Penn Station. Little did I know that there's actually multiple Penn stations, because at some point they were just like, let's just name all the stations that this one liner says the Penn Station. So I got off in Jersey. And then this is like the middle of the night, so I was panicking because I'm like, are they gonna let me get on the other train to get into New York, or am I gonna have to like Uber into New York? The lady at the counter was nice enough to just be like, just get on this other train. But anyway, I panicked real hard. I was about to cry. It was a bad time. It was a real bad time. Other than that, it's clean. It kind of reminds me of like European transit systems a little bit, because it's like nice seats. I think that one time I went to New York, I had a bad impression of it because it was like, because they don't have assigned seating. Like, it sometimes feels like they like overbook the things because you can't find seating, and that's rude. Because that's like an hour and a half train ride, which is about the same as, or a little bit less than driving, I think, during rush hour. It is nice on the East Coast. Amtrak has a bunch of trains. I remember this one time, another time I was going to go visit my grandparents. I ended up getting an interview at a company for the day I come in, so I ended up switching my ticket to a earlier time, and like the convenience of being able to do that, real nice. The shitty thing about Amtrak is that like going across country, basically impossible, and you might as well just drive. Which brings me to one of my favorite things I learned about Amtrak, which is one of their trains. It's like I think it's called a roulette. One of their trains, it has a toilet in it. Like so one of their cars, it has a toilet in it, and it's fucking weird, man. It's wait, hold on, here. So like, am I crazy to think this is fucking weird? Like I don't know why I was looking into Amtrak. I'm like I think it was just like, I was interested in trains at the time, and I was curious what kind of trains America had, and like Amtrak has this train car that, or like a seating thing that you can buy, and it's for two people. It's for two people. Don't get me wrong, but they have like a toilet and like a sink in there with you, and you're like, the fuck? That's weird. I think this is how it usually looks, but then if you want to use the bathroom, you can just pop it open, and you're like, just have your other person in there be like, yeah, step out for a minute while I take a dump and stuff. And like you kind of have to close a curtain in order to do that. But like, anyway, that's one of my favorite things I've learned about Amtrak, is they have this like weird ass room. I would not share this with someone. 0 out of 10. Also, it kind of looks like they. I have never seen this picture before, but like, one of you has to sleep next to the toilet. Amtrak, what the fuck? I took a sleeping train from, I think it was France to Germany, and like that was nice. Like there was 4 beds because it was 4 of us, like it's a bunk bed situation like this, but like it was just so much nicer. Like I didn't have to look at a toilet. Toilet was separate, which I think is a thing that you should always do in a train. I don't know about you, but anyway. That's just a fun fact I know. And because of that, I'm sticking Amtrak in B tier, only because of that one little roomette thing that they got going. Everything else, I'm just like, Amtrak, you could have been so much more, but America just did not let you. I'm so sorry. French Metropolitan. I have vague memories of this. I just remember we had to buy these little tickets, and I was extremely confused on whether or not you could like transit with them, or like what's it called? You can go from one thing to another. So like we took a train, and then we had to go out the stalls, and we were confused on whether or not we could use the same ticket to like I'm losing words. Yeah, we didn't know if we could use it again to get to another train, and apparently could, but you're like, what the fuck? Why did no one tell me this? Why are you so complicated? Yeah. I I think it got me to where I wanted to go. I kind of just let everyone else plan the trip. I remember going under the Eiffel Tower because my parents were like, "Hey, do you want to see it?" And then my sibling was like, "It's just a glorified radio tower." So we literally skipped the Eiffel Tower because he said that. I don't really know anything about it. We're sticking in C tier. Okay. This is the last one because I can't remember anything else. Maybe someone else can jog my memory. So MTA is I guess it's the Manhattan Transit Authority, but I think it covers most of New York City. I'm pretty sure like it goes even to like the Bronx and stuff. Maybe the Bronx has their own. I don't remember. But I'm a little biased because I've used it so frequently, and every time I needed to go somewhere, it was pretty darn convenient. Like the bus was pretty convenient. They're not smelly. They are crowded though. Like getting on the MTA during rush hour is like one of the worst things you could possibly do to yourself. I try to avoid being outside at that time any day anyway. But like, I think basically you can get on an MTA train in like the main areas of New York City like every 15 minutes, if not less. It depends on whether or not you're on like an express station or not. Like I said, they have buses, which I'm like, if that has to follow the flow of traffic, I don't know if I like that. I do like the trains. Their subways are stinky. And sometimes you see rats, which is something I haven't seen in other train systems. Like even SEPTA, I did not see rats. MTA though, see those rats all the time. It's pretty iconic, you know. You see it in like Spider-Man or like the Indiana Jones movie. I think was that in the MTA? Pretty sure it was in New York. I don't really remember. I saw the movie a bit ago. So I'm biased toward it. Gets me where I need to go, like see museums and stuff. Wait, 1 second, let me blow my nose. Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm still getting over that cold from yesterday, and also the air quality is just not that great in California right now. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not bad. We'll stick it in B tier. I don't think there's any. I don't think it's A tier. I don't know what I would consider A tier. Ooh, something I wanted to rant about. Asia Transit logo. Right. So I think this is it. So. As I've mentioned before, I got family in Malaysia. So I've used the transit system a few times, and I had the honor or displeasure of using the Malaysian the transit system in the capital city of Kuala Lumpur. It's not great. At some point, one of my trips, they were building this like giant highway above all the cars, and I was like, "Hey, cousin, what is this? And then they're building like a transit system above like everything else, and you're like, okay, sure. And then I come to find next trip that it's like a giant like highway for buses. I thought they were gonna put a train system up there, but no, it's just buses. And I'm like, I mean, I guess wouldn't it just be better to like stick a train there? Anyway, I think there's other buses as well in Malaysia. I don't know enough about it. We're gonna stick it in D tier for I don't know. And then I think this is the Singapore, because I visited Singapore once. Singapore is very clean. So their transit system is very clean. Like they have people actively telling you not to drink like even water or like eat. Is there going to be anything in S? Potentially Japan, but I've never been to Japan, so there's nothing in S. I have, maybe I'll throw in some European country, but I haven't been to a lot of those either. German transit system. I went on that vaguely. I liked it. I went on it like once when I was in Germany. I'm going to assume this is the logo. Oh yes, but Singapore. Yeah, so it's like super clean, and like they isolate the tracks away from people. So like when the train comes into the station, which is very clean and AC'd, like there's like the doors that cover basically the tube that is the train, and then the train has its own door. So there's two doors basically that open, and they have a very direct pathing and like thing. So like in America, people just come in and out. Like there's this absolute chaos. But in Singapore, it's like people that want to come into the train have to stand on the sides of the doorway, so they let people out first, and then you can go in. So it's very like clean and stuff, and very organized. So I quite like that. I do not like the fact that Singapore seems to be weirdly strict about the rules. Like, come on, guys. Like, if I'm drinking water in the metro, is that really going to kill you? Anyway, it's for a small island. I don't know, we'll stick it in A tier. I didn't really use it a whole lot. Seemed okay. I mean, it's Singapore. Like, how are they gonna fuck it up? It's a tiny island country. German. I just remember it's an honor system if you do your ticket thingy, which is great because that would never work in America. I used it like once or twice. A tier. I have only good things. I can't think of anything bad. Super nice. Okay, so Argentina is actually my favorite transit train, specifically Buenos Aires. I have never been there. I will add it. Buenos. I only know a guy from Buenos Aires. I think all I know about Buenos Aires is that, or Argentina in general, is that if you set your YouTube to that country, it will be cheaper. That's all I know. No other questions. Boop. Ooh. Speaking of foreign transit systems I've never been on, my Russian friend likes to gush about their train stations, which they are absolutely right. They're gorgeous. Here, we'll just take a little sample. So derailing once again, but like Russian, we're gonna ignore the politics right now. We're talking about aesthetics here. Russian train halls are drop dead gorgeous. Like, we ain't getting this in America. Like, I think they kind of goofed. What's it called? The Penn Station in New York City. Like, they converted it to be used for Amtrak, and that's like one of the most beautiful stations I've seen in a while. But like, it's like, yeah. But like, these are gorgeous. Like, they put a lot of care into this at some point. I don't remember anything about the trains, but we're gonna put the Russian metro Stations in A tier for aesthetic. I have no comments about the trains. I can't remember anything else that was said. I was just like, yeah, those are some nice looking train stations. Right, Buenos Aires. You said it's good. I'm gonna take your word for it. We're gonna put it in at S tier for X because if you say that somehow it sounds like S. The Buenos Aires sub is very forwardable, surprisingly secure, and they pioneered the card system that BART adopted later on in place of the paper ticket system from New York City. However, it's pretty dirty. All right. You said it's dirty, A tier. But they were innovative. I like that. I like that from a place. All right. What other train system? Oh yes, Ohio. Columbus. Shoot, I spelled that wrong. Columbus Transit. It's called the CODA system, which I can't remember what it's called. Why it's called that? Oh, Central Ohio Transit Authority. I don't know. Ohio's weird, man. I have. It's only buses, and it's a really terrible route. And it only centers around Columbus, which is the capital in the center of Ohio. I've never used it. I just see their buses, and I find them mildly inconvenient. I just every once in a while on the Columbus subreddit or like the Ohio subreddit or something, I see people being like showing their dream transit maps of Central Ohio, and I think it's hilarious and also very dedicated. Truly, I wish Ohio, which is like a place known, like you can't go anywhere in Ohio without hearing a train. There's like train. I think there's a train system near where my parents live because there's some factories or something nearby. But like that's all of Ohio. Like in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, you're gonna see trains. And they're probably gonna block your path and make your day a little bit more convenient or inconvenient. Sorry. Yeah, but for a place that's just covered in train tracks, they just do not have any commuter lines. Like going from Columbus to either Cleveland or Cincinnati is like 2 hours, I think, maybe with traffic. You could make that so much shorter with a train system. Like imagine going back and forth between these three cities. Like they got something going here, man, and they just dropped the ball like 50 years ago, and they just never picked it up. BTW, can we bring the Chinese express train system just so we can slam it right into F tier? I don't have F tier, so we can just throw it off the map. But yes, we can do that. Let's go do Chinese express train system. What does this look like? I found this map that labels it as the map of the People's Republic of China. Wait, hold on. I did that wrong. Gonna be honest. Oh, wait. So the blues are lines capable of speeds above 300 kilometers per hour. Green are newly built lines capable of 200 to 299 kilometers per hour. Orange is upgraded lines and other lines with CRH service. And then gray is conventional lines with no CRH service. I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna take this. I don't know, this is the first picture that comes up on Google, and it says it's from China, although now that I look, I'm pretty sure those are Korean symbols. Oh wait, hold up. I found another picture that has CRN. Yeah. Here. There we go. Yeah. This is I think it's the Chinese rural. I don't know what's wrong with them. We'll just tuck them over here. This is F tier. I didn't find a chart with. I'm making this tier list on Canva because the tier list maker website had me like actually make one. I'm like, I'm not about that. I was about to use paint, but then I was like, I need the layers. So we're gonna tuck this over here. E tier is okay. Let's put it over here. It's off the page. All right. I got a few minutes left because the ad. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me snooze this ad right now. Okay, I think that's all of the transit systems I've been on / have been mentioned. I'd been to Chicago. I never used the transit system because the two times was on like vacation thingies, so we had a car or like a bus or something. Where else have I been? I have never been to Florida. I've heard about their transit system, and I watched a whole video about this like transit system that's supposed to go from like the airport to like Disneyland, but there's some like weird land right things. Anyway, where else do they have transit systems? I suppose it's non-existent in Texas. Where else have I been? Chicago. I've been to. We did Massachusetts, Maine. I think I've been to Maine a few times. No transit system as far as I know. Been to Malaysia. None of that. I did France and Germany, which I've been to. Hong Kong. I've only been to the airport, which is really nice. That's about it. We could tier list airports at some point, but that's going to be very boring. Adding to what I already wrote, there was a really decent, already perfectly decent moderate speed trains in place that got mowed down by the express train just to travel the same distance for over twice the cost. Oh, China. Maybe we should tier list the countries based on how well they manage their infrastructure projects. That would require a little bit of research, but that sounds like really randomly niche and kind of fun. I've never been to London, although I would love to go to London and enjoy that. I would love to go to any of the other countries that have like decent train systems or like transit systems, but haven't been to those. I'm going to Poland this Christmas. My spouse's family lives in the middle of nowhere, but we're going to be in Warsaw and Krakow the other day. We'll be in them for a few days, both of those cities, so I can rate them there. Although it might be a lot of walking. I don't know if you saw my initial post for reasoning for Chinese Express and E-Tier. Wait. Oh, yes, I did not. You're right. Okay, hey. So the original comment is the Chinese Express train is unreasonably expensive. It has so many stations and stops that it barely qualifies as an express train, and it completely fails to make back its own expenses to such a degree that it's partially responsible for taking the Chinese economy. Oh my gosh, that's depressing. That kind of reminds me, there was back when I was living in Boston, my parents were mentioning to me that at some point they were trying to make an express train that goes from like, in some order that I don't know because I don't know where cities are, but like a speed rail from like Boston, New York, and DC, and maybe Philadelphia. But the problem was they weren't able to acquire the land to make it straight enough. So basically this express train like speeds up at Boston and then has to slow down to go around a curve and then speed up and then curve and blah, blah, blah. So basically it's not an express. It's just slightly fat. It's like how my father-in-law drives, which is, yes, speed up really fast when it's green and then like brake really hard when it's red. So it's just, whiplash. Stepped out for a second to take a screenshot from my game. Hope I didn't miss too much. You possibly just missed my whole rants about like Amtrak and MTA, and German take, Johnny. If you haven't seen the Amtrak's roomette, you need to look at it. It's the funniest and also most confusing thing I've ever seen. When I went from France to Germany, I took a sleeper train. I mentioned that earlier. I don't know what train system that was though, but that was nice. I will say, I think because we crossed the border, they had to check passports. So like in the middle of the night, we're just sleeping. They bang on like the sleeper car's like door. And it's like, hello. I think they said it in French and in German, maybe in English as well. And they were just asking for passports. But luckily my dad spoke all three of those. So I don't know. I think they conversed with them in like French or German. But yeah, that was disorienting. This is also pulling up memories of the time where I was like really into creepypastas, and I was just reading about creepypastas on a train to Germany. So the Chinese Express train was built not because of the need for high-speed rail, but more as a job-creating scheme for the government to just flood the country with expressways. I have thoughts about that. Mostly being like, come on, guys. There's got to be better ways to prop up your economy, right? Anyway, this is a little bit. I think I gotta wrap. One, I can't remember any other train systems I've been on. Two, I think I gotta wrap this up because I gotta go look at pictures or something. And my throat's feeling a little wee bit sore. But yes, this is my tier list of all the train systems I know of currently in existence and I have been to, or some of them I've been to. Most of them I've been to and I have thoughts on. Yeah, this was fun. I will post this tier list somewhere, and you guys are feel free to roast this or to, make some good arguments. But yeah, thank you for joining me for this midnight rant about transit systems, mostly in the U.S. Hope you guys had fun. Funny thing, really quick because I only have one more snooze. I don't think I can do Tuesday next week because I actually have a appointment at 9, and I don't want to I got to get into the mental state for it. It's a coaching session kind of thing. It's a whole thing. But I was also thinking if that persists on Tuesdays, I might switch to doing Wednesdays and Thursdays. We'll see. My schedule currently is erratic because my energy levels are erratic. Like right now, I am kind of wired weirdly. But that could change. My energy levels are all over the place. I think it's the new prescription drugs I'm on. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But okay, wait, sorry. One last comment. I'm totally for an airport tier list next. Frankfurt. I can't pronounce French or German. Sorry. I would love to do an airport tier list. I don't think I've been to enough airports to make it a good one though. But we can look at pictures. I'll think about it. This was really fun though, so I kind of super want to do another tier list of dumb random things that I vaguely care about. But yeah, until next time, I will either stream next week on Monday or Wednesday. Really hoping for that Thursday spot, but again, energy levels are wonky. But yes, to everybody who's joined me for this wild adventure, thank you for sticking around. It was lovely hearing your thoughts on these. Thank you to my 2 subscribers. You guys are much appreciated, and all of my followers. You guys are also very appreciated. Until next time, make sure you stay hydrated. Don't get sick like I did. And be kind to others. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all later. Goodbye.